I thought this was an interesting wee graph.
Mm-hmm.
Like that climb in food prices, right? Which had a really clear reason for why, because
Mm-hmm.
the entire world shit the bed.
Yeah.
And then that was really heavily tracking downwards through Labour International.
So what's
And
that bottom?
then
What's the bottom? What's the date there? Because I can't see it. Like,
the
where is it
date there,
above that N?
so October 23rd, and then at its lowest,
Yeah.
June 24.
Okay.
So
So a
that
year
rise
ago.
there in a year.
Yeah. Well, they said it's
So
gone
that's
up
over
8 months in a
overall
row.
food prices. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
up and
Wow.
up and up and up.
That's
And I
interesting.
think, you
It's
know, when
interesting because
you
it's got down. It's got down like that. So in other words, National continued what Labor started to get prices down,
mm,
and now
or
it's
at least
going up again.
benefited from it.
And you see, yeah, well, either way, but I mean, like, you can stuff everything up. Give them credit for continuing it. That's fine. The downstream started with Labor, and National continued it. But then the question is, then it started going up again. How can you confidently blame Labor when you got it down after Labor started to get it down to a low price, and then after that it started going up again? I'm afraid you don't think you get the credit for that, because it would be like all my analogies are either sport or weight. Someone losing, like, 50 kilos, and then all of a sudden they start eating pies again and they put 10 kilos on. They were down at one stage and to a certain point, and then they started putting it on. They're to blame for that. So these guys are putting on weight, and the weight comes in the form of food prices, and they're responsible for it. I'm sorry, you don't walk that one off. You don't walk that one
I,
off at
I
all.
I just want a government, and to be honest, the government and an opposition that freely acknowledges what is in the power of central government and what is not.
Yeah.
And I think when we're talking about the increases in food prices specifically, yes, you can say that that is in the hands, it's in the range of powers that government have. They could break up the supermarket duopoly. They could turn around to Fonterra and go, hey, you know how you sell 5% of what you make to New Zealanders? Well, we are demanding that you have a price cap, a price freeze
Yeah.
to
So
this
that
level.
yeah.
It's
So if
it's
the
it's
government
it's barely going to touch your profits
yeah.
because you freely acknowledge that. But the New Zealand taxpayer subsidizes Fonterra to such a degree that the very least we can do is have cost price
Yeah.
on dairy and meat and all of this sort of stuff. That is in your power, but you want to go, free market. We've got to have our hands off the wheel on the free market. But then when you look at the same thing happening for your opposition party when they were at the wheel, well, the free market doesn't come into it. It's 100% Labour's fault. And yes, it's politics, but fuck, it's dumb. And I hate that people believe it.
I'm just looking up price of a litre of petrol in Saudi Arabia.
I don't think you
Because
pay for it in Saudi Arabia.
but this
You
is the
just
thing.
you just go and dig a hole and it
So
comes up.
it's 50 US cents per litre. So that'd be like 90 New Zealand cents as opposed to $2.50. And why is it cheaper in Saudi Arabia, Chewie? Should we educate the
Because
people?
you just dig a hole in your backyard and it's there.
And you just get the bucket and you take it and just pour it into your car.
Yeah.
It's cheaper in Saudi Arabia and these places because that's where the fuel comes from. And they make their money off international sales. Fonterra, you're listening? The cows, New Zealand is where the cows come from. The road you drive on in New Zealand are paid for by all of us. The times that the businesses that make up Fonterra had to write off a loss for a year, we all paid for that. That comes out of all of our tax pool. So now you need to be like Saudi Arabia with their fuel. You need to provide to New Zealand. I'm not even saying it costs Chewy, but, at a reasonable expense, not because they've literally said, and ministers in this government have literally said, because this is what they can get for it internationally.
Mm. They've been really clear on that.
Yeah.
And look, do it and help ordinary New Zealanders out immediately, or don't do it and leave the door open for the opposition coalition to come in, cruise to an easy victory, by promising $4 blocks of butter, $7 blocks of cheese. Because yeah, you should do it. You should do it. It's not going to kill Fonterra. They're going to take a hit on 5% of their production. They're not going to lose money on it. They're just going to lose some of the profit on it for the New Zealand market. That's it.
So let's just go through. This is New Zealand dollars now, a litre of petrol. Libya, 5 cents. Iran, 5 cents. Venezuela, 6 cents. Angola, 55 cents. Kuwait, 57 cents. Algeria, 60 cents. Egypt, 65 cents. Bahrain, 90 cents. I wonder what it says for New Zealand out of interest. $2. It's right down the 2 something. Look, I know it's not exactly the same, and they make trillions of dollars, and they basically use oil to make drag strips that they use once, and then it goes away. But the idea that for the home market where the product comes from, obviously to create a block of cheese that sells, that is from cows in Waikato that sells in Cambridge, is far cheaper for you to get that block of cheese to that supermarket than it is to get to London. So in theory, that should be far cheaper. And it's not, because international prices dictate. No. Greed dictates. Bahrain. And choices dictate. This is not like an uncontrollable thing. It's greed is what it is.